Welcome everyone, this is Evelyn. I'm finally back. Sorry about the meditation. I really did want to do that on the 22nd. A couple issues came up. I'm not a Mac person and I couldn't get the live stream to work. And my older computer, which I have done live stream on before, the sound isn't always coming on, so I couldn't use that as well. And then I got an extreme headache, which I don't usually get. And my son had just come in, so it just ended up not being a good day to do it. But I definitely want to do that meditation. It's definitely going to be a guide, a journey around the United States, clearing some stuff from your root to your tip, bringing in some other advice as well on clearing the 7 chakras. So we'll be not only clearing the areas, but also your own energies associated with those different wounds. So it'll be a really good meditation. So when my kids are home right now, so after they leave, I'll get organized with that and we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, I have several reads for you here today, starting from the 22nd. I have my 4-deck read from Journey of Love, Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman Dreams. I have 4 of them, but they're different. 2 of them are my 4 usual decks. And then one of them, I switched the order of the decks. So instead of starting with Journey of Love, I started with the Shaman Dreams on the journey through nature to the Metatron Bridge. And some really cool number associations came through today as well that I want to bring forward to you. The last channeled read, my read of the day, I call the message of the day. The one I did today was not those 3 decks. It was just, or not those 4 decks I normally use. It was Journey of Love, the Past Life deck, and then I used Tarot of Dreams, which I don't use very often. And definitely were some dark wounding coming up regarding starvation and homelessness that needed to come up to be cleared. And of course, there's Thanksgiving, which I wasn't even thinking of that as I was doing that today. But I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving and enjoyed it. We are going to take a few deep breaths to bring all of our parts back into us to be very coherent with each other. The right, left, right, up, down, in, out, in. And let's go ahead and take those few deep breaths. We're going to roll the die and do oracle cards at the end as well. And I have the 7-deck read for you on the table there in front of you. So let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths. If you'd like to, if you don't want to, go ahead and skip past these breaths. Take a deep breath in. Another deep breath in, please. And one more deep breath and hold. Sending lots of love and blessings out to all of you. Thank you so much for being here with me. And again, like I said, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and you're having a nice weekend off if you're off from work. And for those of you who don't celebrate Thanksgiving, just hoping you're having a nice weekend. It was very nice out today. It was sunny and pretty warm. Definitely unseasonal weather, so that was really nice. It was a bit chilly yesterday, but it got really nice again today. And yeah, so let's get started. We're going to roll the die first. Just roll the die. For the twin flames, some stuff about twin flames versus stars, seeds versus light workers, etc. came up this morning before my read when I was doing some meditation before I got up out of bed this morning. So I'm going to bring that to you as well. That'll be before the 7-deck read, but the last of the messages of the day. So for the twin flames, today is November 26th, 2022. Happy birthday, Marky. It's my stepson. Let's go ahead. Okay. We have Aries here. And definitely that was coming up. Scorpio Aries was definitely coming up today in those darker energies. We have Mercury here. So Mercury is all about communication. That was coming up as an issue too, right? Because when you're homeless and without food, you don't have the energy to act or communicate. That was coming up specifically today as well. So Mercury communication, which is also Gemini. And then we have the 10 here, that high vibe, destiny, also being the wheel card, the Wheel of Fortune, which for me is Libra. So Gemini and Virgo for Mercury. And then Libra and the Wheel of Fortune, that high vibe destiny energy, and then the Ram. So starting off the cycle, right? Jumping right in without thinking first. All right, we'll see where that goes. So Aries is cardinal, and of course mutable Mercury energies. And then Libra is also cardinal. So 2 cardinals and 2 mutables, right? The leader and their support. And again, the communication back and forth between leaders is coming up there too. Let me just put this back. Okay. So our first message of the day with my 4 decks: the Journey of Love, Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman Dreams. The underlying energy on the left, 3 cards each were dealt. And then whatever naturally comes out as far as getting a number. And I also use the cards in the read for a pile at the end of each deck. All right, so we have a certain amount of cards here, 1 card here, 2 here, and whatever came out down here. I'm going to pull them up a little bit so you can see the pictures better. Okay, so on this day, it was the 22nd. And again, it was the 11/22/22, a very significant portal energy. And I wanted to do the meditation that day, but we'll get it done. I think the 28th might be a good day too. So keep that in mind. I'll let you know, which is only a couple of days from now. So the 22nd was the 22, which is the Fool and the Fool's Journey, that open heart and a leap of faith. And the day added up to 39 that day, which is the Knight of Cups. So the Fool and the Knight of Cups, very open-hearted, being love. And I had pulled the first deck at 11/22, so that was coinciding with the date that day, 11/22. The Journey of Love and Metatron were both pulled at 11/22. The Nature's Whispers was pulled 11/28, which I also just brought up, the 28th, and then Shaman Dreams on 11/30, or at 11/30. 28 is also the Twin Flames, Choice of Path, and the 30 is the Union energy, or the Home energy, the Om energy. So the piles at the end of each deck were 5, 1, 2, and 3. So of course I looked it up in Gematria just to see what kind of energy came up as the first entry. And it said something I couldn't really understand what it was saying. It said, what is the people always have what they need? What is the people always have what they need? So I didn't know what they were trying to get at. It wasn't a very good message. So I looked at the numbers that came up, and the 5 pile came up as 4 and 1, 5. And then the second deck was 1 card, the third deck was 2 cards, and then the fourth deck, the Shaman Dreams, was 2 and 1, which was 3 altogether. So the way the numbers came out altogether, besides the 51/23, was 5, the 4-1-5, because 4 and 1 equals 5, and then 12 in the middle, and then 21-3. So there's that 12-21 coming up, as well as the 41 and the 21 surrounding the 12. And the Ace of Cups is the Holy Grail. It's the offer of love. The 21 being completion in the world. It's also the 2 and the 1 of the masculine and the feminine. And that 3 of coming together. The 41 is a 5. They're both odd numbers. 53 is the Knight of Swords, the messenger of truth. So there was just this pattern here between the 41/5 and the 21/3, or the Ace of Cups and the world, right? Giving love, offering love throughout the world. Also Pisces and divine feminine energy there with the world card, and the high priestess or higher self for me. The middle energy being the 12 of the hanging man and being wise, seeing new perspectives. So the Ace of Cups, the hanging man, and the world came up there with the 41, 12, and 21. The Holy Grail, which is the holy, the whole, and the Y is the Y in the road, the 0 point field. And the Grail is God's rail. So it's like the tunnel of the 0 point field. Is the wisdom for the world, the hanging man offering love to the world. And a lot about Jesus was coming up in that Christ energy and connecting with that energy to source, which the Jesus, Mary Magdalene are kind of our guides for the twin flame journey. Really connecting deeply to that energy in order to then bridge to your twin, right? Both connecting vertically, and then the connection brings the union in on the ground. Freedom in the 1, 2, 3 of the leap. The Hierophant and the Empress with the hanging man between, or the divine feminine, divine masculine, or the magician and the high priestess or higher self. With freedom, wisdom, and abundance as the King of Swords and the King of Wands, or the high priestess and the Empress. The change in the divine masculine, King of Wands, the man of integrity and the man of passion, and mastering knowledge and inspiration, and those energies and the thoughts behind that. At 11:39 is Justice, and the 39 again of the Knight of Cups. And the first card there in the underlying energy was the Cloak, or number 50, which is an energy of Jesus cloaked, standing in beautiful, like periwinkle and golden colors, contemplating, being protected with that cloak, but being by themselves, right? Time to themselves to really go within. The underlying energy of letting go, and the 27 of maintaining that childlike spirit. And 27 in other decks also comes up as the Metatron Rainbow Bridge, the 40 bridge. And to maintain that childlike spirit, just like the bridge from Hawaii to the mainland, where they didn't fall and drown in the waters, but became the dolphins of Lemuria. So it's kind of like that energy associated with the bridge. The 26, which today's date is, the Page of Wands and gathering around. And the Page of Wands truly is that inspiration, because it's very pure, of a child's heart, like a teenager who's excited to go on their first date. And the 10 of Cups of family happiness, the completion of an emotional cycle, finding a place of freedom, and cloaking yourself with it at 11:39. Again, that was that energy. The 4 of the Emperor, which is also structure and letting go, to release, and the 27 coming up here of the Ace of Wands, to be childlike and inspired, with the Page of Wands. So the Ace of Wands and Page of Wands back to back, a lot of inspired energy to inspire yourself or become inspired to then inspire others and get them to, because remember, inspire means to breathe. The happy family with structure is inspired to inspire others. So that's basically the opening energy there. At 11:43, which 43 has been coming up like crazy, and it's my son's soul number, that energy of the 3 of Cups of coming together in joy. The 11 of Justice, truth and balance, the 43 of that 3 of Cups, the underlying energy of the 55, which is the Ace of Swords and Excalibur and the truth, and accepting the 46, which is the loving children, hugging each other just for a moment of joy, being that childlike energy, with your arms up in the air, being unprotected, right? Allowing your heart to be fully open. That 35 of the wounded warrior and the intimacy of the surrender. The 43 of the bride offering herself, and the 59 of the war within, the temple within, to that 10 of Cups family of emotional happiness and fulfillment. At 11:51 is Justice and the King of Swords, which also can be Libra, King of Swords. which is also my son's rising sign, is Libra. So there's a lot of that energy, and he's Scorpio. So the Knight of Cups could be Scorpio energy, because 43 has been coming up nonstop the past 2 days. 56 is the Two of Swords with the Dance of the Planets, hand in hand, in that cyclone energy of chaos, the chaos of life, that cannot touch you when you're in your knowing, and acceptance of all that is. The 48 of the Eight of Cups, walking away and within, of the man in the earth and the woman of the sky, the divine feminines laying down their hair in the vortex, the red carpet, so to speak, for the divine masculine, to clear the void for the Page of Cups, the pure love, the gold and the white, and the walking away and within to the void, where then 5 cards came up, 4 and 1, which is the Emperor and the Magician as well, with the first card being the 66 of the Queen of Pentacles, and coming together in the 2 spirals of the Rose Heart, the Queen of Pentacles and the Golden Gate, in the journey of devotion to the small, the vulnerable and innocent, the 17 of the healing with her grace, and reaching out to the 65 of the King of Pentacles for the breaking and the crashing of the wild horse, with love and an apple every day. The 2 of the divine feminine, or the higher self, within nothing there's everything, where arms are wide open, can only draw in a hug, rendering others defenseless, accepting their imperfections without expectations, was coming up right there. And I'm only bringing this up because we were just laying our hair down in the vortex. But when I got my headache the other day, I had colored my hair, so I'm sure it was because of the color. But that was at 11:11. So again, it's not really about coloring my hair, but the rainbow hair of Aquarius and the age of Aquarius coming up at 11:11. And the meaning of 11:11 came through in another way today, so that was pretty cool. So at 12:49, the Hanging Man and the 9 of Cups of self-satisfaction, happiness with self, the underlying energy of the 53 of the Knight of Swords, the messenger of truth, and the codependency here. The Knight of Swords being the key to freedom, the 26, which again it is today, the Page of Wands, the pink of self-love, the womb life bulb energy, the Page of Wands seed, or the new child in the womb, the life bulb womb, the womb of the earth, of 3 of Mother Nature and creation, the family tree that's locked at the root, the innocent bulb before it grows the flower in the spring and then withers in the fall, the family message and their truth, the child, the seed, the bulb of the Empress and the Emperor, the 3 of abundance and the 4 of structure and letting go, finding stability in the fall for the masculine to keep the family safe and warm through the winter. The first card here, or the first 2 cards, is 22 and 36 of the Fool and Atlas. The journey of Atlas, which of course go hand in hand, right? The journey and then a map to take with you of the weight of the world on your shoulders. Archangel Sandalphon here on the Fool's journey, who is also associated with Neptune and dreams coming true. The map to the inner child. Sandalphon, who's with you now, with Lyran energy to make the inner child feel better, playing the harp or music, or the muse of the inner child, which can be art or anything that's creative, to hear and know them, the Emperor's journey around the world, with the weight of the world of the inner child. So again, the twin flame pairing is very much about taking care of the vulnerable. The open heart of the Fool and the burden of others, to find the balance in that, to find self-satisfaction in the meet and greet with family at sunset, coming full circle in the void, perhaps a meditation. And then 1 card came up, which was 52, which is the Queen of Swords. And in this deck, the Big Bird energy with rainbow pyramid or masculine core and golden wings or multidimensional, incorporating. At 101, which then again is the Magician times 2 with space between, or perhaps the 10 of Destiny and High Vibe and the Magician. The underlying energy being the 3. The mother celebrating differences with the Page of Cups, or the innocent vulnerable ones, the 40 of the Page of Cups, the innocent ones showing their support of the mother, free with the 5 to clear out the old with change and allowing it to happen. The 2 of the Divine Feminine, there we have 5 and 2 again, repeating the 52 of the Queen of Swords. The 2 of the Divine Feminine, illumination, the purity and freedom and independence of the butterfly moon child, finding their independence on the dark side of the moon. The High Priestess, and that can represent, the moon is very much about romance. The High Priestess or higher self, and then the 41 of the Ace of Cups, of being in service to the Holy Grail of your life's work. And again, that octopus teacher coming up of the opus of October, or the 8, the infinity. The Holy Grail, or the hole at the Y in the road, the tunnel of the Grail, God's rail, the train, of your life's work or opus, the offer of love to those who are vulnerable. The 49 of heightening your vitality with self-satisfaction, to love others, love self, and to inspire maintaining that childlike spirit with number 27 and that Ace of Wands. So the first card here was the 12 of wise expansion, reaching out to hold hands, mountain to mountain, bridging, dimension to dimension, grounding and unifying each other as you go. The 14 of assurance of the seasons that they'll come and go, the patience of a higher love, to be the wise patient angel when the 31 of the chaos of life presents, to be spontaneous and reach out to create a bridge, bending toward each other, to give and receive as opposed to the word take, but to give and receive, to allow and release. 2 cards came up here, 18 and 34, which is the purple moon and the energetic exchange. The moon children finding their power in Lady Liberty, Queen of Swords, and the moon children are coming up as the independent, especially the independent young girls. The moon children finding their power in Lady Liberty, the Queen of Swords, and the feminine knights of the Round Table, as opposed to just the masculine knights of the Round Table, allowing the dried leaves to carry them home in their dreams. The blossoming into a beautiful bouquet, and then dreaming down the Borealis River without a care in the world, right? When you fall asleep, you trust, leaving burdens behind in the energetic exchange of vulnerability, knowing that all is well and that we are all taken care of in the home of the free, and Lady Liberty working overtime and watching over us. With 18 and 36, they came up right here, also add up to 52 again, the Queen of Swords. The womb and the altar, day and night, night and day, you are the one. So at 116, which is the Magician, and the 16 of the Tower and sudden events, the underlying energy of the 30 of the Horseman, heralding the herald of change, and the 62 of the Will o' the Wisp, which can reference restriction and prison and anxiety, or it can be the release of that and what you've learned from being trapped, the treasures found. The 36 of Atlas, when lost in space and needing directions, an Atlas map or a weight lifter, the prison planet of the 27 of the Ace of Wands, the great inspiration of the heart home and compassion, right? Only from living on a prison planet could you have ever understood the compassion that you hold. The 26 of the inspired message of the Page of Wands, the young, to gather the community, the spark, and then that small step in that direction is all it takes. The 56 of the Two of Swords and the Wall, and keeping to themselves here, watching the world through a hole. Again, that reference of being within and just observing the world go by. The 19 of the Sun and the falling angel, blinded by the light and thus may have tripped up and fell, in energetic exchange with the King of the Hill, with the lay of the land, of the cropped circles, or running up the hill to fall down. And what does that remind you of? Skiing, right? You do all that work to get up the hill so that you can ride wee, 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 wee all the way down. So so it's also like to conquer that hill and then retire, right? Come all the way down the hill in the easy way. And it's coming up as the A and the and this is all coming up from the word A-N-D. But the A of the A-Y, of the lay of the land. So lay of the land, if you take the L's out, are then A of the and. And the first letter of 3, and then N-D, the divine masculine rocket to the Christ co-creation, where remember I said D equals M, because M used to be written as like a 1 in parentheses, but then they abbreviated it to a 1 with just one parenthesis, which is the letter D. So D and M really can mean the same thing. His other, Mother Mary. I was just getting Mother May I coming up here as well. It's supposed to be Mary Magdalene, and then Mother Mary, and then Sophia. Again, the lineage of the mother. And Mother May I. And then Sophia coming up as Sophi, which is another Sophism, right? S and then 4 letters of O-P-H-I. An S word, like sword. The human reflection of Phi, which is expanding and contracting or staying in the middle, reflecting and saying, hi, I am. 3 cards here, which were 2 and 1. Again, the feminine and the masculine. And then the cards 2 and 20, so a lot of 2s right there, of the 2 of the divine feminine or higher self, and the 20 of the judgment or wake-up call, where then source jumps in to help the feminine, to back her up. The divine feminine and the divine feminine with source support. The beloved with radical acceptance, with their heart on fire, to the feast of plenty, which was Thanksgiving, and 2 sharing their choices, and I was getting chores here as well, 2 sharing their choices and their consequences. And we all know about that at Thanksgiving. The 38 of the Queen of Cups, with the many masks of the authentic self. The Page of Wands showing off for the Queen of Cups, then inspiring her to share a layer of herself. So then getting her to peel back her onion. At 131, the Magician and the chaos of life of the 31. So then this day, this was the 22nd, where I canceled the meditation, and I just felt like crying that day. My head was hurting me, which I didn't normally, and I was trying to get this done. I was trying to get my Mac to, let me do the live stream, and then I forgot my son was coming in, and then my daughter was going to be coming home, and then and it's 4:41 o'clock. I don't know why I have to tell you that, but 4:44 is that the Hercules energy of her harvest and Thanksgiving, right? Oh, there's the wound, right, of the women always having to do all the work at Thanksgiving, right? Traditionally, obviously now a lot of men do cooking as well. But in the past, that wasn't the case. The woman was expected to do these things and do it all, even if there's, 30, 40, 50 people at Thanksgiving. So just feeling like crying or just feeling overwhelmed, maybe coming up to purge Thanksgiving. Preparing all day for the meditation and go live, and then it wouldn't, plus the headache. And then Jen had come home, and there was a really long line at the bank, so she couldn't even get done what she wanted to get done. So then she was frustrated when she came home. And then my son came in that day. So the underlying energy here at 10:30 was the high vibe energy of the home and the union, and the whale being exhausted at the bottom of the ocean. And in this picture, it literally looks like a whale on a raft already, who can't swim themselves because they're so tired, but it also looks like they need a lifeline as well, because they're just so tired in this dark energy that they're constantly clearing. The firefly, bunny, and scorpion here, as this was the wild unknown tarot coming up here, and the horse inspired to multiply with their stinger out, ready to jump the elephant to make it to the horse, or the bunny with an idea to surprise the elephant or give them a lift to see the horse, which, for me, Mr. Ed always comes up as God. The mouse was hiding here, and the crow was on guard. And remember, whore see is also referencing of Mary Magdalene and the whore who sees. The MC row, the Draco crack coon was coming up here. Instead of the raccoon, it was coming up as the Draco crack coon. I don't know who that might be. But then Rocco is also coming up on mother fowl, which can reference a chicken, right? The mother chicken. But then a beautiful mind kept coming up as well. The cobra teacher of the sad raccoon, while the crow protects the mouse. And like the moth to the flame, the raccoon and the foxy wise old owl, and the cheetah awakens suddenly with the collective, rushes back as the bee or the carpenter rushes in. The wolf is stunned here, leader of the pack. The mighty owl, the nightingale, I was getting the mighty owl, so maybe the nightingale is the mighty owl, sings here, and the bee develops butterfly wings. The golden egg overseen by the vulture and guarding like the crow on the other end. The deer one and the elk with the crocodile between, which is definitely in this deck, reptilian energy with the slit eyes. So, and I woke on the 23rd with a really weird dream, but I couldn't really make out what it was. And it presented to me in two different ways. One was in the ocean, like where I was in two different levels of ocean where, you know, that fear of being dragged under. But it was like and that came up, the Pantheon and the Parthenon came up today. And now that I think of it, I don't know what it was about the structure of, I was seeing the back of a person, but it was all monotone. But it's kind of like that whitewash of the Parthenon where it's not pure white, you know, it has a little bit of tan edges and that kind of thing. And the scene that I kept seeing was like that white energy, but with a little bit of tan, just outlining it. But it was the back of a person, and then like a, you know, a multi-columned building like that. But there was something dark in it, even though it was coming up as white. And the first time it came up in the ocean in two different ways, and then it came up in my home in my dream in that way. And I literally saw my name. I saw Evelyn, but I was getting Cobb or some four-letter word. And my maiden name is a four-letter C-O word, but not Cobb. And it wasn't my maiden name that I was seeing. It was another name. So it was like a group or a cult or something dark, but white outlines or Jewish memorial across from them taking over my house and then leaving. The ocean was that scary feeling again of being dragged into the sea. I looked up to see my name, like a street sign with Evelyn Cobb or something like that, only to find a woman who writes about, so I looked up online to see any Evelyns that might come up that will enlighten me as to what this is supposed to mean and what message I'm supposed to bring to you guys. But what I found online, the first things that came up was Evelyn, who's a writer about Black women's plight. Evelyn Nesbit also came up in a very significant way. Her name was actually Florence Evelyn Nesbit. From December 25th was her birthday, so Christmas, 1884 or 5. They say that her mother might have hidden her birthday to disguise her actual age because she was an artist model. She was also a chorus girl, an actress whose husband and Stanford White, the big thing here with her was her husband ended up killing Stanford White, who was an associate of hers, but she had many people obsessed over here because, you know, here she was a model and an actress, and she was actually from Pennsylvania, and she worked in Philadelphia and New York. I don't know if I have any associated energy since I'm from Pennsylvania, but Thaw, or her husband, who was a wealthy man, shot White in public. I had also just watched a new abductee on Michael Sala, which was so weird. So one of his recent videos from this week, which is another abductee that he was interviewing, and I hadn't seen her on his channel before. And when I was looking at the pictures for the different Evelyns, there was a woman that came up in the scroll of pictures that looked exactly like this woman who said, you know, who was describing her abductee experience with Michael Sala. I mean, she looks like her, and she has a very specific look. And so I looked up this Evelyn too, because I'm like, who the heck is she? So she came up as the Vampire Queen of Chicago, and that was from historycollection.com. She was Evelyn Ramatka, Queen of the Band, which is so funny because we were at TJ Maxx yesterday with the kids, and I ended up buying a Queen cup because my soul number is Queen of Cups. And I wasn't even thinking of that when I bought the cup, and I'm like, oh, it says Queen on it, and I'm Queen of Cups. But anyway, the Queen of the Band came up here, who was paroled in January 5th, 1910, as she and a bunch of others, she taught people to drug and rob unsuspecting gentlemen. And after 1911, she escaped an arrest when her girls were taken down, and that was at 2:20. Apparently, after being arrested, she was in jail already prior to that, but then after she got out and she got arrested and they were doing another crackdown, they did not catch her. They caught all her girls, but not her, and she was never seen again in the U.S., and maybe they thought she got away to Canada. So I had been feeling a bit uninspired, or you know how you just all of a sudden feel like you're back in 3D and there's nothing, unusual about your life. It was that kind of feeling again, which I usually feel in September, right after Lionsgate. But I was just feeling that just a negative energy. And so I had done some cleaning, which definitely helped clear some of the energies out. And plus, I had both kids in the house. And so the underlying energy and then coming back here was the 12 of self-initiation and 30 of the garden and the gate. And then the pile for that deck was 1, 1, and 2, which were 4 altogether. But I was getting the +1. Because remember, 4 is the 1 and then the L. Okay, so remember that because that came up again today as well. 4 is 1 with the L attached to it. And that was coming up with this pile of cards. So it was coming up as 11 on either side, and then 2 with the L, because I broke down the 4 to L and 1. So it was 2 to the L, and I don't know what that means. But if anyone knows what that means, as opposed to the 2 to whatever it's squared to, what does the L mean? 2 to the L, which is also the right angle in 90 degrees. So if that means something to someone, let me know. But that was in the middle of the 11 and 11. Hanging in limbo, needing to self-initiate after the acceptance of the fairy tale with the 55 of the Ace of Swords and Excalibur, and the 36 of Atlas and the cosmic butterfly, where we just talked about the bee becoming the butterfly with new wings, and the truth of Atlas and the weight of the world, and the 23 of the King of Wands across the waters, where she is waiting in the wall of the cyclone and the chaos unaffected, with, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel as the masculine coming in. The 47 of that 4 to 7 energy, but also the 8 of Cups, and the soft pearl here of the heart to crown energies, and destined with the 10 to 3 to 1 to leap into self-initiation, as the first card here is the 3 of the burning hero of the planet, perhaps of Mother Nature, which is also referenced by Cryon, I think it was, not only as the planet, but Mother Nature is everything. It's all the planets, it's the ethers and all the spaces between. The 56 of the 2 of Swords in the dance of the planets, of your knowing, your knowingness, and the 40 of the Page of Cups of that innocence and pure love, of the void connected to the 53 of the Messenger of Truth, and the legacy of light, the hanging man and the mother, the wisdom and the abundance, and dancing in the cyclone and keeping to themselves, walking from the entrance of the cyclone to the other end together without being affected, and into the void, the Page of Cups innocent, and the Knight of Swords messenger of truth, the 53, and the legacy of light. And again, that reference of Jesus Christ.
with the Queen of Swords and Lady Liberty, the 52, receiving the light from the Ancient Ones with a wide open heart of the Fool and the Fool's Journey, the 39 of the Knight of Cups in letting the feminine lead the way. Again, this has been coming up all week too, where she's already got a handle on that Kundalini snake and on unconditional love. The Empress and the King of Cups here with the Page of Cups, that very innocent love and pure love, and the Empress in her abundance. And then the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the King of Cups. The Hanging Man and the Mother keeping to themselves about the Page of Cups, or that innocent message of love or puppy love. And the Knight of Swords connected to the Queen of Swords too, offered love to the King of Cups. And again, the energy of the King of Cups being neutral to fire and ice, to the blue and red, being in the middle and not taking sides. At 236, the Divine Feminine or Higher Self, and the Atlas energy of 36, the 10 of Wands of that weight of the world. And then the 50 of the 10 of Cups with the card of the Angel of Strength, which is, that's the ultimate emotional happiness. This is the 10 of Cups. And the 9 of Broken Hearts of the Hermit here, going within, which is very much opposite of the 10 of Cups family, right? The outward family having a lot of joy at Thanksgiving, coming together, and the Hermit of being the one going within, but also then connecting to the all. It is the one and the all. The 30 of the Garden and the Gate of the Mother and Child energy, the 40 of the Page of Cups, and the 6th chakra being represented here as Archangel Metatron and the 4D bridge. So the 40 literally being the 4D bridge. And the innocence of the child, like skipping across the path. The 5 of change and freedom and removing the mask of attachment. In the 10 of the storm warning of the transition of the constraints, home with the Page of Cups, changing. High vibe storm warning of change and transition here. So I may have been picking up on all the change that was happening with the collective here and the collective twin flame group. And actually my daughter changed her color hair that day as well. So there's always some kind of representation within my world that gives an example of what's coming through in the energies here. So at 242, where I completed that at the change and transition, and that's the Divine Feminine and the 2 of Cups of coming together in deep connection. Okay. So the next one, this was very significant, and this is where Cryon and the 7 chakras came up. So let me get to the next picture for you. Yes, okay. Just wanted to make sure it was the right one. All right, so this is number 2. So this was done on the 24th. So again, same setup for this one, where I started with the Journey of Love, and then we have Metatron, then Nature's Whispers and Shaman Dreams. 3 cards each, and then the pile at the end. So you can see them a little bit closer. Okay, so this was done on the 24th. And for Thanksgiving, my sister came over and we just cooked dinner together. She did most of the cooking, I did most of the cleaning up, and we exchanged massages because she's a masseuse. And she doesn't often get one, and I haven't had one in ages, so it was a good day to do that. So it was a very nice, relaxing day for me. My kids spent some time with their family, with their dad, which was nice because I don't get to see them very often. I listened to so this is Thanksgiving, and I'd listened to Cryon, which of course I always find very peaceful. And he's been channeling for like 30 years now, and there's always a positive, calming message. It's rarely that something's triggered me that he speaks about. It's usually a very good place to go if I just need something really, high vibe and to help me bring my energy up. So they sometimes have a short meditation with some of the feminine energies that he works with. And this was the mother. I don't know her. I don't usually listen to the other ones. I usually skip over and just listen to the cryon messages. But I listened to her today, and she was, I don't know what her accent was, but she was, I think he called her the mothers. And she went through a specific word for each of the 7 chakras, which was wonderful, because it really helps you to remember when you're going through your chakras, perhaps the energy to focus on. So I wanted to share that with you. And again, this is from Cryon, and I'm using some of that in my own way to do a little twist when I do my meditation with you guys. So the root chakra, she called trust. So that has to do, obviously, with safety and your own power, right? Trusting yourself and your own power. The sacral energy of faith, which is that everything is being created, is in divine perfection. The solar plexus came up as due diligence with whatever matters most to you. Again, for me, that's very much about your spiritual practice, right? To keep you in line and check with what's most important to you. And then the heart is, of course, compassion. The throat is the courage to speak what needs to be spoken with divine love. And the third eye is patience, right? How many of us need patience to connect more fully with ourself and our higher self and our source connection? And then the crown being understanding all things, and then gratitude for all that is. And then to breathe into all 7 chakras. And then she had you breathe into the Earth Star chakra, anchoring the energy into the earth and giving thanks for that. And then breathing into the Soul Star chakra above your head to your own guidance and your source direct connect. And then again, just summing it up with that balanced alignment, that every step will be in your divine path. So again, they were urging us to kind of run through this practice before we get out of bed every morning. So if you remind each of your energy centers where you want to be in that center and asking for that balanced alignment every day, you're putting your intention behind that. And that's a really quick way of doing that every morning, because it only takes a few minutes. Another trick from Sam the Illusionist talks about focusing on your fingers, each finger of your hand, and then the fingers on the other hand, and then going to your feet and focusing on each toe. So again, another way to bring you back to your heart and your body as opposed to being in your head. And so this next read that I showed you was started at 11:01 that day. So I had pulled a card from the energy deck, which came up as the Patience card, which in this deck is like the Lady Liberty, but someone who's dissatisfied with where she is, like a teenager who's graduated and isn't happy because she either can't implement her plan she had because of the situation going on, or that it wasn't her plan to begin with. So now she's unhappy, even though she has, she graduated with honors. It's that kind of energy. And the clock on that card is 10:11. So that high vibe energy of the 10 in that high vibe trill of the 1-0, and then the 11 of alignment of justice, truth, and balance. And the man with the coin came up after that. And again, so much about the King of Pentacles and the breaking of the King of Pentacles, right? The one who was looking to achieve status. That was always their intention, the dream, right? To create lots of abundance for them and their family, to then create a legacy for themselves and their children. And then all of a sudden their children want nothing to do with what they do. So this is, the same old story that comes up. And it's like the masculine, it's like the King of Pentacles changing into another, like turning another way. Instead of pursuing still that dream that's no longer coming true, turning back as the Knight of Pentacles, as more of the humble, loyal servant, or the purging man with a heart, going into his heart to do the work and purge all that wounding that needs to come out. And then the underlying energy was the thinking woman of the 4 to 7, which is that 7 of Cups and synchronicities. The Queen of Swords, 52, the Goddess of the Moon was coming up there too. And then the Healer of the Ages with Archangel Metatron, the Page of Cups, and that Innocence again of the Bridge. And I was just getting the Freedom Walk here too. Freedom from the mask. And it was taking me back to September 21st to the 30th, which I think Sam the Illusionist had said that there was a period of energy coming up there that needed to be cleared. Love with anxiety, or home with anxiety, dancing with indecision, and purging it out. So it's like going back to tell you what the masculine was experienced during September and October, and that actually September 18th was coming up as a purge. So Journey of Love had 1 card at the end, Metatron had 1, Nature's Whispers had 4, 3, and 7. So there's that 43 again of the 3 of Cups, but also representing the Emperor and the Empress, and the 7, which is the Chariot, the feminine and the masculine within the Chariot ascending. And then the Shaman deck was 2 cards. So 1172 was coming up, which was significant here. So I went into Gematria, and the first entry for 1172 was none other than 44, which I've been nonstop talking about, is Hercules, or her harvest. Also the 4 of Cups, of grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love. It's also that boredom and apathy card, or ignoring somebody perhaps. Ignoring an offer of love. And I'm going to give you the other entries here because they're pretty quick. But I wanted to bring you down to the 7th entry at least because 44 came up again. So that it's always written out. But one was written 44 together and one was written 44 apart. But the first entry was 44. The second was Yehovah, Y-E-H-O with an accent over it. And then V-A with an accent hat over it. And then H. The third entry was 1896, which may be significant for some of you. The 4th entry was Today is the Day. The 5th entry was Rainbows, and again, the Metatron Bridge. And the 6th entry was the Wing Makers. The 7th entry was 44 again. Then I skipped to the 9th entry because 8 just was not significant for us. There were some negative energies there, so I didn't need to bring that up. The 9 was Jesus Has Come. And 10 was Intuitive. 11 was Pope John Paul. And then it was, instead of the second, it said capital I and then lowercase I. And then 12 was I was born. So the energy of 1172, but also 72, the 7 came from 4 and 3. So 1-1, so January 1st coming up significant here. April 3rd and July 2nd were all coming up as significant dates. The alignment with truth and balance, the joy of coming together, the Chariot with 2, the key to the higher self, of duality and mediation. So again, both sides of that. The underlying energy here started at 1132. Again, justice and alignment, truth and balance in the 32 of the journey. And the journey man, that's 6 of wands. The underlying energy here being the 27 of that Ace of Wands, and the ethereal touch, right, instead of passion, being inspiration, lightening it up. The ethereal touch with the 41, which is here as above, so below. But 41 is the Ace of Cups. Then the 36 of intuition, which is also Atlas energy, and the 16 of the Tower and the sudden empty well. New passion for light touch, for love, the Holy Grail, reflecting the 0-point tunnel to source, and the Atlas map of your intuition, which is the in-twit connection, the twin towers of you and I connect, and the sudden emptying to all for all messages to come true. And remember, the sudden emptying is about hollowing yourself in order to let source energy flow through you. And empty also comes up as the M, capital M and the capital T, where the M is also 2 1s and the V in the middle, which is co-creation, or 2 creating together, and then the T being the top dog, or that energy of source, or that's the only, the buck stops here, that's the only dead end there is. With the well, so MT, well, W-E-L-L, co-creative with top dog, 2 U's, 1 equal and congruent to the LL, which are 2 right angles, but also pushed together, is the U of the Holy Grail. 2 right angles, or angels, offering big love out of nowhere. So the underlying the energy here is 1136, which is justice and Atlas again. The 39 of the Knight of Cups, of letting the feminine lead the way again, because she's got a handle on the snake. The 37 of the King of Cups of unconditional love, of fire and ice here, and staying in the middle. The 46 of the pure innocence of connection, just for a moment, joy, with arms up in the air, with light streaming into the heart. The 35 of the wounded warrior, surrendering to intimacy here. The 27 of the ethereal touch, being light as a feather. And not, the passion is ego with inspiration. So we're lightening that up to the ethereal touch of the inspiration, which is also breathing in. 1139 then is the Knight of Cups, of the first card of the 33, which is God speaks directly to the 43 of the Three of Cups, coming together as the bride offers herself, newly inspired to the Christ unity consciousness, and the joy of the bride offering herself unto thee. The 60 of the Six of Swords, peaceful movement, and riding the cosmic wave of elation, unafraid of what's being thrown at you in that chaos of life. With one card at the end here, the 22 of the Fool, and the Fool's journey of loving all that is, holding space on the Fool's journey on that 5D station. At 1142, again, justice and alignment of the Two of Cups, of that connection, and the underlying, and Spirit's connecting with me just regarding that connection, the underlying energy of the 44 of Hercules and her harvest, and the beacon, which means be lighter. The 55 of the red of the shaman, and the 38 of the Queen of Cups and the chakra system. So again, referencing the masculine as that red root chakra energy of the shaman, and the feminine as the light body. And then the 41 of the Ace of Cups of heaven and earth, which you notice that heaven and earth both have H-E-A in them. But then heaven has Ven, V-E-N, and earth has R-T, which is the root. But Ven means venerable, but also friend or boyfriend. 20, which is the judgment call, the wake-up call, but also wine and artworks, and shallow lake or pond. The wind, beautiful, that one, a vein, which helps pump the blood back up to the heart. And the mild, bent grass, shore, bank, and side, when, dirt, and thing all come up for Ven. So be lighter, Hercules, safety and strength of the shaman root power, and how, or again, the energy healing of the hand, and being vulnerable to open the hand and show your power. With the peace treaty on Thanksgiving Day, TG Day, with peace pipes and toilet paper, don't forget that, and the Queen of Cups is light body, activated, including her hands, her harvest from root to tip, love reflecting as weeping pink willows, as above so below, reaching out to each other, bending toward each other, each doing their part. At 1149, which is justice in the 49 of the Nine of Cups of self-satisfaction, the first card here is the 29 of the Three of Wands, which can be waiting for that ship to come in, but it also can be being present in the moment, being observant to that ship coming in. And the Blue Mother, Madonna, holding serious alignment, present with gifts, source direct from the Star of Bethlehem or House of God, L'Chaim, to life. The 30 of the House, the Union, and the Om, the Silver Warrior of Light, the Human Gate, the Sword and the Stone, the light of the moon, that purple moon, which the moon is also Mary Magdalene and Jesus, the M of the Mary Magdalene human, 0 or O, and the O-N, which the N for me is the half of the M, is the Jesus human coming together, and the moon is the romance of Mary Magdalene and Jesus. The sword and the stone, the S word and the S tone, the word and the tone, the origin of one, the road of the Christ or any energy, the holy grail of the womb to the heart of faith and compassion, and knowing about the easy pass connection. The mother and child as the father directly connects with Mother Nature and all that is. She is, and he speaks and acts through her as the divine feminine in the masculine, who then drives him home. The son sword and the daughter stone, the ones who work together and apart as one, the warriors of light, The orange of the 24 of the Queen of Wands and Omega, to stretch and lunge, to release stuck ego energies, to the crowning of self with enlightenment. The Holy Grail of the 0 point God's Rail Tunnel, and the suspended animation of that, from the father-mother to their children, as the bride offers her womb and release ego to ride the cosmic wave of peace with graceful movement through it. The 22 of the Fool of the 5D station, right, where you can leap to any other dimension, and the 3 of Mother Earth and the expansion of creation, the 5D being being anchored into Mother Nature and all of her beings. The collective awakening to love all that is, the Fool with an open heart or compassion and leap of faith in creation, trusting that you are safe and powerful, knowing what's most important to you, with daily spiritual practice or constant perseverance, and the courage to speak love, patience with yourself, and above all, crowning gratitude and being open to all things. At 1206, the Hanging Man and the Lovers, or the love, family, and community there. At 1207, the Hanging Man and the Chariot, the underlying energy being the sudden inner truths that come in from having gone through certain things. The 16 of the sudden events, the 29 of being present to contemplating all that is, the 6 of the love that is the big picture, and the healing of the root to flower the crown. The 33 in the Christ unity consciousness, to be gentle with yourself and not to martyr yourself. The 36 using Atlas, the map, which is your intuition, your in-twit connection, the twin towers of you and I. Your Esther Williams bathing cap, or brain on fire with synchronicities, with natural light that shines from the water of your loving heart. At 1210 of the Hanging Man and the Wheel of Fortune, the first card here of the 14, the angel's assurance that when it's dark, it will dawn. The 31 of the chaos of life, that when you reach out, someone will be there to reach back. Be spontaneous here. The 18 of new experiences and possibilities, of patience, balance, life, and 0 point, flowering one by one. The healer riding the horse with the butterfly on the round table, standing by as you spiral into infinitum. A bouquet of beauty with home always in sight. The cyclone is the flowers growing, and you are in the midst of it. The beauty that is so much that you have a hard time taking it all in. And I was just reminded of the first time standing in front of the Grand Canyon, is that exact feeling. It's so magnificent that you cannot take it in with your simple human eyes. The one and the all, as you find that safe place within, with all, so it shall be without, the beauty that magnifies here. So the 7 cards that were 4 and 3, the 43/7, which is that 3 of Cups card of come together in joy. Then we had the 4 of the Emperor, the 42 of the 2 of Cups, the 37 of the King of Cups in unconditional love, and the 46 of the innocent children loving each other with their arms up, ready for a hug. And then there was 20 of the wake-up call, the 9 of the Hermit, and the 25 of the Knight of Wands, where the 4 here is the pause to take it all in, the touchstone of the trunk and the home. And then my sister arrived right there. It was at 12:17. Let love be your beacon at 42, the 2 of Cups, and blush. The 37 of the King of Cups, in the ideal course of action, that love is always the ideal course of action, and the 46 of the inner children with gratitude and appreciation, where the little girl is with her unicorn. The 20 of higher ground, the 9 of the perfect setting, and the 25 of keeping your dreams alive, in rising up with the Hermit painting the perfect pretty picture, and the Knight of Wands is the blue baby blowing you a kiss to keep your dreams alive. At 12:28, the Hanging Man and the Twin Flames, or choice of path. And then at 29, being present in the moment or waiting for that ship to come in, the underlying energy of the Queen of Cups, 38, with her many masks of the authentic self, and the 49 of self-satisfaction and skywriting the fates, with 16 of sudden events and the sudden empty well, where it's time to replenish and get your wish of love and self-satisfaction. The first card here is the 60 of the watchers in the totem of the Tyon, or the tiger lioness. They are the totem together, all one color. There is no one over the other. With the 8 of the crown canes, where no one's in the lead, in the dance of peace, a balletic movement with right use of power through the hollowing of the instrument of peace and power. The 29 of the horned cactus, present and resourceful, and then 2 cards came up, the 36 and 27, which is the atlas or map to inspire being lost in space and needing directions to the heart home of compassion. The map to the heart home, Om, at 12:23, which is, Jesus on the cross. The 12 of the hanging man, the 33 of the Christ vibration. So then we have this next one. This is where I did the shaman deck first. So this is where I did the shaman deck first, then Journey of Love, then Nature's Whispers, that's in the same position, and then Metatron at the end. So it's the same thing, but notice this, when I changed the order of the deck, no cards came out at the end. Where sometimes no cards comes out for Journey of Love, because that felt like the feminine energy was dwindling. It didn't need to be done anymore. And so when we did Shaman first, no cards. Journey of Love second, no cards. Nature's Whispers, no cards. And then the final one was Metatron deck, which has to do with the 4D bridge. And there was 1 card leading the way with the flame in hand, you see there. So then that morning on the 25th, which was yesterday, I woke up at 7:43. So there's that 43-7 again. Which, of course, and that's my son's energy, 43. And then I woke up again at 8:43. So 43 was coming up again. And then I cut the first deck, the Shaman Dreams, at 8:39. So they were Shaman, Journey, Nature, and Metatron. 8:39, 40, 41, and 42, which goes through the Knight of Cups to the Page of Cups to the Ace of Cups to the Two of Cups. So very beautiful, loving energy right there. And again, the cards at the end of the decks were 0, 0, 0, and 1. And that never comes up for me. So, of course, I looked up 1. I don't know if I've ever looked up 1 before. But I did. And it was at 8:43. And the first energy was just the capital A. And the other numbers associated besides 1 were 6 and 1. And there were 13, 19 hits for that one. The second entry was capital A, capital E, ash. So the A literally had the 3 lines coming out of its second line as the ash, but in capitals. And then the lowercase a was the second entry. So AE capitalized and then lowercase a. And then the third entry was capital A, lowercase I. So AI was coming up, but as an A, which for me is that masculine energy of the rocket or the penis energy, and then the lowercase I being the chakra system of the feminine, and the dot being the third eye. So at 8:47, I started interpreting this read. The underlying energy of the 54 of the Page of Swords, which is very much that universal Mercury energy, of crossing to the initiation of the alchemist. Note this, the underlying energies. The first deck, the underlying energy was 54. The second deck was 54. The third deck was 38, and the fourth deck was 38. That never happens. So both underlying energies for the first 2 decks were the Page of Swords. The second 2 decks were the Queen of Cups. So we have the Page of Swords of that energy of Mercury, which is Gemini and Virgo, which is the twin flames purifying. And so there's 2 of them here, 54 and 54, which the second one is the Earth Angel. One is the alchemist crossing to initiation. The other one is the Earth Angel. The 38 of the Queen of Cups, an acceptance of love, which is the picture of the ivy growing into the tree, is the feminine wrapping around the masculine. The 38 of the Queen of Cups, second one, is the chakra system of the light body powering up. And the Page of Swords laying down half of their tree to bridge, and then blanketing the earth in the other card, while the Queen of Cups, Ivy, romances the whole trunk of the tree and lights up his life with her light body. The first energy coming out here was the 6 and the 3, and then the 36, which is the 9. So the 369 just came up there. The 6 and the 3, and then the 36/9, which is the Atlas. And then 54 came up again as the final card there in the underlying energy. But that was the underneath the 54 for the first deck. So before that was the 9 of the Hermit and Dreams of the 17, the 1 of the Magician and Sky Dancers walking away and within with the 48. 2, the Divine Feminine Cosmic Womb of Lovers and the Benefactor of Grace and Generosity in the Mushroom or the Cosmic Womb, and my father's nickname was Kos, so that was coming up. And then the MIC, which is the M and the IC of the inner child, Kos co-creating the inner child, which Kos is also an island, a Greek island. And then the womb, which is, the W is written as 2 V's here, and the OMB, which is the Om, and then the B, capital B, is like the 13 of transition. So Kos co-creating, and Kos is also the K of energy, and OS coming up here, which also can reference Oz. But the energy of OS, or the human sine wave, co-creating with the inner child to creating Om in transition, where the benefactor is Ben E, or 1 equal and congruent to, factor, or B, any, or the Christ consciousness factor, the Christ 1 equal and congruent to the other, or the whispering bench with 2 U's creating at the Golden Gate, lost in space with Atlas losing their way and needing direction with 369. The Lovers, the Mother, and I'm getting Kermit singing, right? The Lovers, the Dreamers, and me. The Lovers, the Mother, Atlas and Mercury are twins. Earth with a map for deliverance. The crossing over of the alchemists, the road through perdition, transmuting the old energies into something brighter and new. With the 3 of the Mother in abundance and creation, and the 33 of the Sun and the Christ energy of sacrifice for love that is not a sacrifice, and the 333 of the One and the All, of compassion, of 9, and the Empress, the Sun standing up for his +1 in the easy pass connection, which is calm passion. She creates, he protects, the +1. The creation, whether it's a child, the new love, assuming the heart will go on. The 3 is that the 369 is the, remember 3 is 66. 66 reduces to the 3, whereas the 33 of the Christ energy reduces to the 6, and the 36 reduces is the 999 energy. So the Golden Gate, which is also the GG, the 66 is the Queen of Pentacles, also the 2 spirals of the GG, via the number 33, or the Christ vibration across the Metatron bridge of Christ consciousness, or the 4D rainbow Antakarana bridge, to unify on the other side in Agent 99, compassion, or calm passion, the easy pass connection, with Source Direct Connect, where you get smart between chaos and control. With Universal Mercury, I was just getting merry, with Universal Mercury Winged Messenger service going back and forth between sides, the Gemini Virgo twins of duality and purification, or going to the principal's office to mediate. So it's like the mother going back and forth here to mediate the twins. At 914 here is the Hermit and the 14 of Temperance and the Angel of a Higher Love. The first card here is the 39 of the Knight of Cups and the Metox Repair. And I told you we exchanged massages, me and my sister. So it was that very much that energy there. The Knight of Cups of Metox repair, and then the 25 of the Knight of Wands in the Garden of Venus for rest and renewal. The 28 of the Twin Flames and the hollowed bone of humility, of the emptiness, of the eagle's wing bone, that's a flute for the shaman. And this was quoted from the book for Shaman Dreams, that you can accomplish most anything if you are willing to let someone else take credit for it. Trust your experience, not what you've read, especially, in the sacred religious texts and things like that. Trust your own knowing. The 923 of the Hermit and the King of Wands to change. It's the alchemist energy is coming up here to change danger into opportunity and to change insignificance into the brightest sun. At 933 of the Hermit and the Christ energy there, the underlying energy of the 27, again, the Ace of Wands, and that ethereal touch. In the 24 of the Queen of Wands, the spaces between the word, also the Omega energy there, inspired to enlightenment, which is Omega. The breathing or inspiring into the crown, the 49 of the Woman of Light, the lad and the liberty, receiving the crown of light, of self-satisfaction, as the 15 of the mother prays for her, or prays on her, biting her head off, or perhaps some tough love. With the mantis being coming up here, which mantis also means soothsayer, where it's the truth sayer, or the diviner, with magic, intuition, or intelligence. The mantis also means rear horse, or a truthful person, basking in the light or dancing in the dark. The woman of light, or dark mother who prays. The 43 in coming together, the bride offers herself to mediate the chaos within. The 57 of the lover's healing in white, because white is all colors, and the choice of prison or freedom is always yours. In the blanket you choose to cover yourself with. The 2 of the Page of Swords messengers, 1 of the earth and building bridges, and 1 of the sky building rainbows. The first card out here is the 13 of the gifts received. And that definitely was what I was experiencing when I had that headache. Because then I woke up today with crazy. I couldn't sleep last night, partly because I had some coffee ice cream around 8 o'clock. And I wasn't circling in nonsense thoughts. I was circling in new ideas and creations that were circling around in my head. By then I couldn't sleep. So the 13 of gifts received and the 39 of letting the feminine lead the way again in whipping the King of Pentacles into shape. So again, the crashing of the King of Pentacles. The Page of Swords in transition and the gifts received. The 54 of the freedom train again and the change of the earth, of the 5, and the stability of the 4 of the angels. So again, the trauma of change as being on this prison planet of the 5, because change is difficult for us, and then finding the stability in the angels of the 4. And I would tell you the 444 comes up as the angelic realms. The earth angel, which is also EA, which was giving Elizabeth a little bit of a plug there, and gifts from preparations of the ethers to the orbs in the woods, to the Knight of Cups as the divine feminine leads with a handle on the snake, wrapping the snake around her arm as a bow, boa. All right, so wrapping the snake around her arm as a boa, the length of her long Rapunzel hair. So literally the snake was mimicking her long, crazy rainbow hair of Aquarius. Creating a loop, and E and an 8. The circle after circle of Vesica Pisces fish and triquetra angels with Irish knots landing, IKL, which means food, food for thought, or I am energy at the right angle, the 90 degrees, or airing to the side of the light at 98 degrees, 0.6 for good luck. Love at 0 point or degree, the human experience of 98.6 degrees, which means of drive, of instigation, or of provocation. To incite, to stir the pot, accelerate, to excite or egg on, to grease or take steps. That 98.6 is compassion dance at 0 point of the lovers. And notice that 986 is the pod of the 698. But they come together in a different way. Whereas when you have the 6-9 pod, it comes together 6 and 9 to make the 8. But when they come in back to back as the 98.6, let me just get that cleared a little bit. So when it comes in as the 98.6, it comes in a different way here, which is like the ash coming together as the wrapping, the bow tie on top, where I just brought up the bow in that previous sentence. So notice the 98.6 is that 698 pod, but it's the opposite of it, right? The within and out. The pod being 69.8 then, which by the way equals a round number. And guess what that is? 21 degrees Celsius. So not only does 98.6 come out to 37, which is unconditional love, but 69.8 comes out to 21, which is completion, being whole, the world, the feminine and the masculine. And also inches to feet comes up as 5.8166 infinitum. 6 is all the way through, where the 21 degrees equals the divine feminine, divine masculine at 0 point, whole and complete, with 5 feet of freedom of the 5.816666, etc. 5 feet of freedom and change, and the 81 of ending karma around the world, and the 6 of the lover's spiral forever and ever, looking for the key 7, which of course you would round 666 off to 7 if you were writing it as a human linear being. The 98.6 equals 37 Celsius, or 8.216666 feet. The dance at 0 point to 21, and 6 of the lovers spiraling forever and ever, looking for that key, number 7, to end the spiraling at 10:04, message received. The Page of Swords, message of gifts received by the Knight of Cups in the breaking of the King of Pentacles, as she is willing to bend over backwards to catch him when he falls, with an open heart and unguarded, the fish out of water on her bridge, needing to breathe, just breathe, hearing her heartbeat as she falls on her. The ocean of emotion of it, catching the fish and the beast all at the same time at 10:08, which is the energy of the high of the 18. At 10:08 is the smashing of the particles together, his, hers and his and hers, and all combinations, to discover the parts that mesh and parts that require time alone, the dance of together and apart, holding hands and hugs, or taking that risk to throw them up in the air to see where they land. And do they trust you to catch them? Do you trust them to be free enough to allow the spin, knowing they'll come out of it at just the right moment? And if they do go into a tailspin, will you let go altogether, or be patient for the spin to slow down so you can make sure they're okay? At 10:13, which is that high vibe energy of the wheel, and the 13 of transition, after the 15 in the shadow, and needing to catch your breath, hugging the tree, and then just touching in a pause with the Emperor, knowing you've regained your balance, but you just need to touch your touchstone again to have due diligence of your daily spiritual practice, and the 6 of the lovers and the spiral, and the big picture of the family healing the root to flower the crown, a hand on the butt, or the 46 of the 6 of Cups giving each other a leg up, or a pat on that cute little hiney, with 15/6 and 33/6, with 24/6 between. The 6 equals the lovers. The 15 equals the devil, or the dark side of the lovers. The 24 is the Queen of Wands, or Omega, the crowning moment. And the 33 of the Christ vibration. The 42 of the Two of Cups intense connection. Of the light lovers and the dark lovers. The Queen of Wands, enlightened human. And the Christ, Mary Magdalene, the Christed aspect of Jesus. And the 51 of the King of Swords. The Queen of Wands to Christ, and then partners with the King of Swords, the Gemini twins and the Capricorn goat, and the 24 Queen of Wands learns the 33 of unity, with the 42 King of Swords learns the 28 about the twins. So this was really crazy, because as soon as the 6s were coming up, because 6, 15, 24, 33, 42, and so on, 51, all reduced to 6. And so they were coming up as my mom and dad, because the 24 is my mother's soul number. The 42 is my dad's soul number, which both me and my sister have 42 outer personality numbers. 33 was my mother's life lesson number. 51 is the reverse of my dad's outer personality number, which was 51, the King of Swords. And then 51 did come up with the King of Swords and the Queen of Wands to the Christ energy. So again, the 24 of the Queen of Wands, learning the sacrifice of martyrdom of Christ, and then partners with the King of Swords, my father, who was Gemini. They were both Gemini twins, and they were 7 years and 7 days apart. The Gemini twins and the Capricorn goat. The 24 of the Queen of Wands learns the 33 of unity, and the 42 King of Swords learns the 28 about the twins. And my mother was a handful, let me tell you. So she learns to stand up for herself, and he learns to make a choice, to just be in the divine feminine, the higher self duality, and mediative dance. The 24 and the 55 were coming up. So I was remembering their numbers. My mother's destiny number is 79, which is, for me, the pot of gold in the rainbow. And she did have kind of that pot of gold life. She had a successful husband, and she could stay home with her children, even though she did a lot of work for the community. She didn't get paid for it, but she got to do what she wanted to do. And then the life lesson of the 33 of that Christ energy. And then my father, the 42, 51 of the Two of Cups and the King of Swords, with a destiny of 93, which is the reflection of 39, the Knight of Cups, and learning the lesson of the 28 of the choice of path of the twin flames. And then both of their power numbers were 4 and 4. So there's that 44 of Hercules, her harvest, right? She was the one who ran the house, right? Because he was always at work. And the 33 of learning to be gentle with self in the 30 of union, adventure of bridging the dross, or the moss with the 2 dots over the O, or measure, of someone's, or of sameness and the differences, and accepting both within you both. In the Om, to the 38 of the Queen of Cups, represents the 3 of being by yourself and the 8 of when you dance together. In the 11 of alignment of acceptance of love of both sides of yourself, the human and the higher self, the subconscious parts of yourself is your higher self, really, your other. And then it was 1037. So then there's 37 coming up again with the King of Cups and unconditional love, where the first card here was the 21 of the world again, which was 69.8, which is 21 Celsius, and the 98.6, which is 37 Celsius, of coming full circle into unconditional love. The 2 peas in a pod, right, the 6, 9, 8, that becomes the pod with the 2 peas in the pod, which are whole and complete. And this was at 38 to 39. So 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, and then the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups come together as the 2 peas in the pod, and complete in cold stasis, or 98.6, which then comes up as the bow of the 9 and the 6 back to back, outside the pod in a bow, the AE ash, the bright light up, the cherry on top, the breaking out of the twin pod. Pay upon deliverance. The cracking and the breaking of the egg and being egged, the 21 of the world and coming full circle in a fresh approach after some romance. With the 38 of the Queen of Cups to the 21 of the World, or the Divine Feminine energy there too, that could be Pisces energy as well, which is, again, the 1 foot in this world and 1 in the next, and then going to the next cycle. And then back in the pod for a refresh or an icy winter. So at 1044, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the 44 of Hercules, or her harvest as Atlas, the double U in the river with the bull in drying off disabled or ruined, to have and to hold, tar, which means in Pleiadian, in Elena Danan's book, the throne, or thrice. This also means 3 times, good, tear, or have a good cry. To exist, consider, to give birth to, or to go and interact, or perhaps to sweat it out with the aunt or the uncle at Thanksgiving. The 1 of the Magician in making a wish to blow. The 23 of the King of Wands and the magic that you are worth it. Your vision of her and the 7 candles and flowers in the sunset with flowering horizon. Or in other words, her eyes on you. At 1106 of Justice and Alignment and the 6 of the Lovers, the underlying energy here of the 27 of the Ace of Wands again, of Metatron Rainbow Bridge, magnetic service, according to Cryon, if needed, cry on, if needed, the wind beneath your wings, the inspiration to breathe in, present to blue Madonna with Sirius alignment, which is a blue star, holding space, the 42 of the 2 of Cups to go with the flow on the whispering bench and paddle on 1 to 1 down the salt river until you get to the refresh water, the 39 of the Knight of Cups, green heart healing, the Emerald Order of physical healing, with the 38 of the Queen of Cups and her etheric chakra and light body healing, the inspired mother holding the grid aligned with Sirius, holding her breath for partners, Knight of Cups and Queen of Cups, to mesh, not only on the whispering bench, but in healing together. At 1111, the first card out here, it was 45, then 21, then 43. Together, the Queen of Cups purging in the sunset with the indigo aligned or indigo star, the mother and child or children together, coming together to receive and heal, with a lot of Pisces energy right here. The 39 and 38 of the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups, and the 21, which is that Pisces energy, and the 37 as well as the King of Cups. Here you have the King, the Queen, and the Knight of Cups, and the world. The whole, complete the world, and Pisces, coming full circle, she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. And then 1 card, which was the 8 of leadership, leading the way with flame in hand. As the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups purge to complete and come together to heal and lead the way. As right then Jenna came back with Teddy from their walk. So, and yesterday Jenna got Teddy in a little outfit, and he does not like, he's looking at me right now, he does not like it when you put outfits on him. And she put this outfit on him, and he's paralyzed. He can't move. And when he does, he would just stretch his one rear leg, his right leg out, like he couldn't move. It was the funniest thing. I wish you could see it. We did, I don't know if she might have a video of that. I'll have to post that. So, the 2 movies that came up yesterday, I actually watched The Patient, which was a psychological type thriller, and then the 3 of us watched Home Alone together last night, which was always fun to do. So now we have the messages from today. So before I even got to the message of the day read, I was in bed still going through my chakras, the 7 chakra thing. And I told you there was all this stuff coming up last night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's sexual energy coming through again. Actually, the past 2 nights. I was getting something to create, which, if that comes to fruition, I'll bring that to you. A couple things were coming up. And the energy of 4x4s were coming up here. And the Merkaba. And the 44 of Hercules and Atlas of 36, which is so the 44 and the 36 were coming up at the end of this page, aligning with each other, right? Because 36 is the Atlas of the masculine, 44 is the Hercules of the divine feminine. So let me get to that point. So my guidance was telling me, so I was asking about the 12 strands, right? How many strands do I have activated? So what I was getting was that I actually have all 12 strands activated, and I'm actually working on my 13th to be activated. But sometimes I only have 6 to 8 on, right? Because when you drop into your lower energies, they were showing me this, that I have a minimum of 6 to 8 strands on. However, my maximum is working on the 13th strand. And then the 144,000 was coming up, because I always get, so some people say the twins are 144,000 times 2, but I'm not getting that. I'm still getting the 72 times 2 are the twin flames. But people who get the 288,000 may be getting that as a starseed thing in addition to the twin flames, because then they were giving me this information about the 144,000. What I was getting here, and you don't have to agree with it, it's just what I was getting from my information, that the twin flames is very different from the other energies, because what I was getting is that the twin flames are literally going through the human embodiment of grounding the 5D light, right? So they have to go through literally the pain of the releasing of the wounds, right, of the past few thousand years. They are the rod and staff, the parents of the children. They are the unions for the children and the vulnerable ones, guided by Sirius and Lyran alignment. And Hydra is coming up as well. And the 144,000 is the 72 by 2. So then the starseeds were coming up as 144,000 as well, as the avatars, and I was getting them as the walk-ins, the ones who really are in that higher consciousness. The twin flames aren't necessarily in the highest consciousness, right? I was getting most of the twin flames are in like a 4 to 7, that 4 to 7 sweet spot of dimension, going back and forth. But there are some who are much higher than that, but there's very few, because to sustain that higher dimension in this realm is much more difficult, and it can be very traumatic for some as well. So that was the twins, the light workers coming in as the walk-ins. So it's literally ET energy coming through from many higher dimensions, but as a walk-in. So they're much more prepared to do this, because they're not going through the karmic energy. And then, of course, light workers, there's millions of light workers. So I was also getting another category. I don't know if that's a subcategory of the starseeds, but the hybrid seeders are literally half human and half ET. So literally have one parent who's human and one parent who's ET. So the walk-ins and the hybrid seeders were coming in more as Andromedan, Pleiadian, and Arcturian energies. And then, of course, the light workers are many. There's millions of light workers, evolved, normal humans, as well as the twins and the starseeds. But I don't really consider myself a starseed in that respect, because I really feel that starseeds are walk-ins. They are ETs jumping in when the human has agreed to jump out. So, and again, those who are walk-ins will tell you that they are. Like Sam has said that, Lori has said that. There's a lot of people who have said that they're walk-ins. So, and they'll come out as those really smiley, high vibrational people who, who have their third eyes wide open, like they see whatever they need to see. Not that twins don't, but like I said, the really high vibrational twins are very few. I don't feel like most of the twins are that. They're mostly the 4 to 7D energies. And then the light workers being, lots of normal people, including the twins and the starseeds. the evolved humans, healers, communicators, teachers, etc., who are bringing their high vibe energies, to the world, as well as the twins and the starseeds. So it's getting this energy because this has come up many times on my journey, the 144,000 and 144. So 144, 144 has come up in many different ways over the years. And they were showing me, again, that the 4 is the L and the 1. So if you take the 144 and you take the L's off the 1s, then you have 111 with an L above the two, above and in between each two 1s, right? So you have 111 and then you have an L between each 1 and 1 and 1, or the two 1s and the other two 1s. And what is L? Well, L is the Roman numeral 450. And what's 50 and 50? It's 100. So it's literally 111 plus 100, which is 111100, which represent the twins, the twin human embodiments of Source. So that was really cool the way that came through. So, but I wasn't only getting 144,144 and then getting that breakdown of the 144 being 111 with 50 and 50, which is actually 100 adding to the 111, which is 111100. The twin flame consciousness and subconsciousness so the twin flames are representing the living, breathing energy of being in your consciousness and subconsciousness at the same time, because you share a light body. So you and your other are each other's subconscious and consciousness, but you share one light body. The two humans, so their self and their higher self, incarnate to ground the source love light specifically. That is their job. They're like the rod and staff families to take care of the vulnerable little ones, the children. Perhaps some are definitely raising children. And then grounding the energy, bringing the light into the earth. Not going up to the light, but being the light and grounding it into the earth. So you're literally bringing in source energy from all around you and embodying that energy as the coherence of all of your pieces coming back to yourself. The star seeds, so the twin flames I was getting as the field workers, which there's a couple different kinds of field workers. Some are the warriors, right, who do the field work in that sense. And the other ones, it's a different kind of more passive field work. And then the grid workers, which a lot of the twins are, and then the families, of course, raising children. And again, a lot of high energy children are coming through. Like that's your job as a twin flame is the protectors of the children. The twin flame consciousness and the subconsciousness, the self and higher self incarnating, grounding source, love light into your bodies, coherent with all of the parts of yourself, bringing all of the 2,000 years back into your body. And then the star seeds as the avatars, walking in to get humans used to the energy of ETs or EDs, so extraterrestrial, extra-dimensionals. So the walk-ins are coming in to get humans used to being around ETs or EDs, their energy in order to acclimate us, spreading source love light and protection on the planet, right? Because they can't come in and intervene unless they're a human, right? So the way of getting around that is to come in as a walk-in and be a human. So now you can actually affect change on the planet and get people used to your energy. To bring new technologies and knowingness, not only just technology, but your abilities that you can do without technology. The twin flames have literally walked through the karmic fire to alchemize the lower density to pull it up to the 5D, and they must be relatable to the masses on a one-to-one level, whereas the star seeds are more direct beams of high vibe consciousness, like channels and streamers, and some star seeds and a starseed couple is not the same thing as a twin flame couple. They may look like a twin flame couple, they may look alike, and again, a lot of twin flames karmics look much more like them than their twin flames, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it does at the same time. But I was getting to that there are starseed couples who actually beam at a higher vibe than the twins do, but it's a different energy. It's the twin flame energy is more relatable to the one-on-one energy and the family energy, whereas the collective energy is very attracted to that starseed energy online, right? So they get very big groups. The twin flames, although probably higher consciousness, like the starseed couple are not twin flame couples, although they're probably higher consciousness. Like it's like they're both rainbow children, but in an adult form. And again, like I said, the walk-ins who are walk-ins have said so. Twin flames identify as twin flames. And they do that not to label themselves, but in order to identify each other so that they can support each other, just like a starseed would, because other people don't relate to them. It's not necessarily a negative thing. We're humans living in a linear consciousness right now, and we need to understand what things are. So again, the 11,000, just so you can see a visual of how that worked. So the 144,000, taking the L's off the fours, the two fours, becomes 111 with the two L's, which are 50 and 50, which equal 100. So if you add 100 to 111,000, it's 111,100, which this is each zero is, or O is the human embodiment of source for me. So those are the twins when it comes down to two zeros, where the L is also, besides 50, is the right angle. And again, showing you how the two L's come together and become the 1111,000. But then it also, they were bringing in the higher number of 144, 144, 144. Because there's millions of light workers. So then they were giving me, again, the Atlas energy of 36 and the 44 of Hercules. And if you bring those two number sequences together, right, because anything in 18 has to do with that high energy in Judaism of the 8th and 10th Hebrew letters. That's the 918 energy. And then 27, 36, which 918 is my birthday as well. But the 27 and the 36, 54, which is that mercurial energy, the universal Mercury, the 72 of the 72 by 2, and then the 90, which is compassion with source backing it up, the 108 of space between the 1 and the 8, of the 1 of the magician embodiment, and the 8 of the dance between the masculine and feminine, and then ending at the 144 here. And then the 44 multiples start at 11. So they're all the 11s, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, and so on to the 99. And you see how they match up, right? 911. We really started recognizing most of this journey, of the ascension journey, at 9/11/201, but this is really referring to 2009 to 2011, right before getting us prepared for 2012. And then the 18 to 22, which may be representing the years of 18 to 22, and so on. And you notice how the 27 in one of my cards is the Metatron Bridge, but also is associated with the 33, number 33 over the 4D bridge. You see how they come together, and then these align together. Then the 54 and 55, which is the Page of Swords and the Truth, the Shaman and the Alchemist, and then you have the 72 and the 66, which 72 is the Four of Pentacles, which is Divine Masculine's heart, and the 66 is the spiral, the aqua rose gold mother's heart, but also the Queen of Pentacles. And then you have the 90 and the 77 being the sovereign and the compassionate with source support. And then the 88 of the twins dancing, along with the 108 of the magician, and the 8 when they need space between themselves, perhaps to go off and be connected to source by themselves. And then Agent 99, of course, with Get Smart, which is that really high vibe energy of compassion, and then the 144 of the twin flames. So you see how they all parallel together. It was really cool the way that came together. So, and again, that's just the information I was getting. You don't have to agree with it, and no one has to be wrong, right? Everything is right. Everyone might need different information for different reasons. And my information, I might get a new download tomorrow that tells me something different, and that's all okay. But that's what I was getting today. So at 1022 is the Wheel of Fortune, the 22 of the Fool, and that high vibe energy, and again of the L, which is the right angle. Then I was guided to Wikipedia, where they have all the different history of how the L became the L. So again, these are the different symbols for the L, which you can look up yourself. But it started with this, this actually energy, the history here, started with this and then going into the hook. And again, these were the sequence of events. I don't know what these were called. They didn't say. It didn't give a country background for these two. But again, this looks like an E, a lowercase e, and this looks like a 6. So there's that spiral energy with those two associated with the L. So it also is the 12th letter, which is that hanging man energy and wisdom. And the Unicode code point, U+0004C and U0006C, which is the 4 and the 6 of the inner children loving each other. And the C is the whispering bench. And did you know that when someone can't pronounce L's, like certain Chinese or Japanese languages, it's called a lambdacism, because it has to do with the L of lambda. And of course, lambda doesn't look like our L. It's like a pyramid without the bottom on it, or the upside down Y. So, and there were also descendants. So I found this very interesting too, right? Because the descendant is also this, which is like the 13, which I always tell is the capital letter B. So now, not only does D equal M, but here L equals B, the capital B. And then this is coming up as not the sacred masculine, but the divine masculine, the sacred feminine. And then the L equaling the B of the right angle of transition. And of course, L is going to come up as love as well. So all there is love and transition, right? The only constants is love and change. And the S and the F, remember F, capital F is gamma times 2. It's a digamma energy. And the S is the sine wave. It's the twin rays digamma sine. So, and then sine and cosine were coming up again, right, as the opposite sides of the angles in the triangle, or the adjacent sides. And you can look that up if you want to, sine versus cosine. And we had gone out to breakfast this morning. And again, the license plate I was behind was 4307. So again, the 437 was coming up. And I ran into one of my doctors at the place we went to eat. It was pretty funny. So then this last message I did before we do the 7-deck read wasn't a 4-deck read. It was a 3-deck read. I used the Journey of Love, but then I just decided to switch decks, and I used the Past Life deck and the Tarot of Dreams, which took us to a darker place, which is where that homelessness and starvation came up, as energies still needing to be cleared since we're at Thanksgiving. So that was at 10:01, and that was the Journey of Love. At 10:03 was the Past Life deck, which is Brian Weiss's deck, and then at 10:04 is, again, message received with the Tarot of Dreams. So, and here's that read right here, so you can see it. So it's laid out the same way with 3 cards each and then a pile at the end that came out. And here we had 1, 2, and 1 come out at the end, and the underlying energies over here. But I'm going to just pull them up so you can see a little bit better. So again, the Journey of Love at the top, the Past Life deck, and then the Tarot of Dreams. So 121 came up there, and the first entry for 121 in Gematria was Mark. The second one was Maria. And by the way, Mark's the other numbers associated with Mark were 258 and 43. So Mark and Maria came up, and then APP, and then Sam, and then Mona. So a bunch of names were coming up. I thought I'd put them all out there for you. At 157 is the Magician and the 57 of the 3 of Swords. And my clock is 6:07. I don't know why you need to know that, but 6 and 7 is also the Knight of Pentacles with space between, though. And remember, I talked about the numbers that came out 666 to infinitum. Round off to 7 are the key. Looking for that key to end the spiraling. So at 157 was the underlying energy here of the 31 of the Christ flame. And this is very much that worn out energy of the warrior who's about to give up. And again with the food and hunger energy in the underlying energies, and the 9 of Swords in this deck, which is very much of despair. The wounded warrior's path of starvation and survival. the Nine of Swords with Mars and Gemini on that card. And at 1:59 is the moment before the hour of 2 o'clock. 59 is the war within, that Five of Swords, and the underlying energy of the 43 again, the Three of Cups, where the bride offers herself, with the 51 of the King of Swords and dreaming a little bit, kind of going into his feminine energy, but that makes him feel very vulnerable, like he's out in the middle of the bridge with the light field and the intense energy is coming in, suffering in silence or being stressed out, and then going into that 31 of that Christ flame of the wounded warrior, not being able to take it anymore. Coming together with that 43 and the King of Swords in his feminine feels exposed to the elements of suffering in silence or stress, or perhaps purging, of the mid-bridge in the light storm and chaos of the warrior's path of life and death, which is that 31 chaos energy. Where the first card it came out then was 22-4, so 3 4s came out in a row. 31-4, 22-4, and then 58-4. So 4 is all about survival, where 8 is about making your dreams coming true. So the 22 of the Fool's Journey, learning to change that to an open heart and taking a leap of faith, the Fool with an open heart holding space in the 58-4 of the 5D connection of beauty rest, and the 3 of the burning hero of the Empress and the Mother Nature and abundance and the lack thereof, of the 16 of the sudden moment, the sudden event, the heart of the moment, right, where the blood suddenly rushes to your heart because all of a sudden you're worried, like where will my next meal come from? The 4x4s, which is 16, of survival and trauma and sudden events, epiphanies, and sexual exchanges, where the heart is then pumping. And the Last Supper, I have to show you those cards right there, because it was crazy the way the Last Supper came up. I've never noticed this in this deck before. So the cards came out like this, right? So here's the Christ Flame, which is the 31-4, then the 22-4, and the 58-4. All right, so in the Last Supper, right, Mary Magdalene's over here, and then you bring her over here to be in the nook of Jesus's neck. So you see how that works? So that was coming up right here, right? She's holding space for him, even though she was sitting over here with the guys pretending to be a man. She was holding space. So that was also coming up. So the Last Supper, where her head nooks in his and holding space when he's not there at 208, which is the divine feminine or higher self, and the 8 of the dance between their own, each masculine and feminine. The underlying energy of food and hunger, of bread and water at Thanksgiving, after 30 pieces of silver and betrayal and needing his father, and where are you, Father? Have you forsaken me? Of Judas, his best friend, betraying him, and then his father not being there for him, of spirituality and religion, of books by the candlelight and lack of forgiveness, of the Asian solar plexus and pride, and the Buddha coming up here, and after the persecution and inquisition, after all was said and done, the Greco-Roman Parthenon, or the woman's chamber, the virgin or young woman, and it's considered the ancient temple to Athena, with Doric temple and Ionic columns, which is all marble, and a monument to the city of Athens, the arts and democracy, and then the Pantheon of Rome, the temple of all gods, or common to all gods, 27 BCE, where the other one was 400 before Christ. I'm trying to see where I wrote that down. So 447 before Christ to about 432. I think another source said 438, but so going from that energy of this feminine energy of the Parthenon to the Pantheon in Rome, the temple of all gods, common to all gods, in 27 BCE, where the Pantheon was converted to a church dedicated to St. Mary and the martyrs, and is now referred to as Santa Maria Rotonda. The only other thing that came up with starvation in reference to the Pantheon or the Parthenon was Minecraft pantheon number 2, Starvation. That was weird. So they're very different, right? So the one is circular with a dome top and granite. They had lots of different materials used, including granite, which was considered a very, powerful man. But the Parthenon is all marble. The pantheon was destroyed in 80 in the Great Fire, but rebuilt about 125 AD. Some call it a dynastic sanctuary, linked to the Emperor Augustus and his family, originally dedicated to Julius Caesar. So they called it an imperial cult, so to speak. And that was coming up from thecollector.com. The height of the ocules and the diameter of the dome in the Pantheon is exactly the same, both 43.3 meters. The Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. was also completed in 1943. It's a very Pantheon-like structure. So there's a lack of forgiveness regarding Asian, Roman, and Greek starvation and widespread suffering and silence, where the angels were watching, but biblically, not over Jesus, the carpenter that day, the transportation of the building materials to build for the wealthy, and doubting Thomas, the head of the train of lockdowns and code combinations. Trains and steam engines, planes, trains, and automobiles, which we actually watched yesterday or the day before. How many helped build these structures who were starved to death? As Jesus shared bread and turned water into wine, the angel held her carpenter of the last train for the coast. And then the Gold Coast was coming up. So the angel held her carpenter, so again, referencing the angel being Mary Magdalene, and in that twin flame connection together, the angel above him held her carpenter on the last train for the coast, right? So the day the music died. And then the Gold Coast coming up here, and the gold being God, the Ancient One. At 254, then Spirit's connecting with me. The 2 of Divine Feminine and the 54 of the Page of Swords were 2 cards there. A need for communal living, but associated with phobias. The fear of heights, of cavernous walls in the mountains that people had to live in, having fallen off cliffs or being thrown off of cliffs, and being far away from food sources. Extreme fears of having to share your resources and having to travel to find carpenters and other resources just to build homes, right? Because you don't have them at the rocks where you're living. 258 of the Divine Feminine and Higher Self, and then the 5D connection of the 4 of Swords. The underlying energy of the Queen of Cups reversed, the High Priestess reversed, and the 4 of Swords reversed. Of Jupiter and Libra coming up here, and the Palace of Cups reversed, and the 9 of Swords upright, of Mars and Gemini coming up here. There's a lot of Gemini, but difficult energy here. And the pain of hunger. For action and communication, one needs energy. And at 301, which is abundance or lack thereof, and the 1 of the Magician, who has to magically find something out of thin air, the 5 of Cups reversed, of Mars and Scorpio here, and then the 10 of Swords upright. So we have the 9 and 10, right? That severity of pain, of the Sun and Gemini, the twins, and the 8 of Pentacles reversed of the Sun and Virgo on this card, which is the purification, and then the Strength reversed of Leo, and recovering from grief, the regret of the 10 of Swords betrayal of the central Sun or Leo, and the twins of Gemini, overworked, underpaid, and not aligned or not working out, very weak, in need of strength and courage, and therefore unable to act or communicate. And again, Judas and the 30 pieces of silver, and Father, have you forsaken me? The sudden fear of lack of food, home, or energy, to have the strength to communicate or to care for oneself. And the female in fear of something happening to her masculine, right? Because they were the providers and the protectors. And what does she do now if he's not there? How does she get down from the stone mountain to build the things she needs to build or take care of the children? Paralyzed by fear, unable to function, The fear of the ultimate betrayal, and this was a big one, at 308. The energy of the Empress and the dance of the twins and that inner strength and courage. The betrayal, right? The ultimate betrayal is being betrayed by the one you love most, which was coming up by the woman on Michael Salla was talking about her abduction, because it's what the Nazis used to do. They would pin twin children against each other. They'd make, they'd let them be together so they felt safe, and then they would have them betray each other. And that was their German twin torture, which was happening in her abduction as well. They did that there as well. So selling out your best friend, like Judas, or your family, like the father, for a meal or a safe place to be seen as worthy of care, at 309, of the Empress and the Hermit. And so there's a lot of that to be tied in with Thanksgiving. Okay. So now back to the 7-deck read on the table for you guys. Oh, you guys have to, if you have Netflix, watch The Swimmers. It was great. And then the Noel Diary came up as well. That was Black Friday, I think. Okay, so here's the twin flame read on the table, the 7-deck read. And it is 2:05 to it's about 2:06 now on my clock. And it's 6:19 on the regular clock, which is the Lovers and the Sun. And 2:06 is the Divine Feminine or Higher Self in the Lovers, or Love, Family, and Community. So this was done, cut and dealt at 3:43. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how many 43s were here. So here's the read on the table. This is the SIRIAN Starseed deck, for those of you not familiar. And then here is all of the clarifiers. So it's a 7-deck read. For those of you not familiar, we have the Rider-Waite Mini here. We have Romance Angels. This is the Tarot of Sexual Magic. We have the Numerology deck back there, which is pink. The cards that came out were purple, blue, and orange today, for this read anyway. And then we have this is the Universal Golden Tarot, and that's the Gilded back there. And then again, the base cards, the big ones, this is SIRIAN Starseed deck. So I cut and dealt at 3:43, which is the Empress and the Three of Cups coming together in joy. And then at 3:54, which is the Empress and the Page of Swords, of Orbs came up, which is very much that Page of Swords kind of energy, right? Of thoughts and words, of blind men and orphans. And then the S came up by itself as well as the Sophia, but also the sine wave energy there of the Alchemist. I finished clarifying at 4:11, which is, again, urgent information, the 4 of the Emperor and stability, and the 11 of alignment, truth and balance. The major arcana in this read were Starseed, which is the Fool, Abundance, the Empress, the Tower, and then Alchemy, which is the Alchemy is the Temperance card. Before the read was the Indigo, which is the Magician, and then after the read was the Chariot, Justice, the Divine Wheel, and the Higher Self. There were 3 Wands, 2 Cups, 1 Pentacle, 1 Sword, so we had 32-11, which is the Journey of 11 of alignment. And then we had triple 2s in this read, 2 4s, 2 7s, which is that 4 to 7 sweet spot that I talked about. And the 2s being that energy of the 2 of the Higher Self and the 22 of the Fool's Journey with an open heart and a leap of faith, and then the triple 2s of love, family, and community. So there we also had the 44 of the Hercules energy and the 4 of Cups, 77 of the Sovereign, which is 9 of Pentacles, as well as 24, the Queen of Wands, the 45 of the 5 of Cups, the 57 of the 3 of Swords, and the healing thereof, and then the 78 of the 10 of Pentacles, that dream family of heaven on earth. The court cards were just the Knight of Pentacles before the read, the Queen of Swords in the read, and the Page of Swords after the read. So Queen of Swords and Page of Swords came up, perhaps mother and child or siblings, or just 2 air signs there. And then the Knight of Pentacles and the underlying energy, the loyal, humble servant. The code line, was all about pride, love, partnership, and health. Those were the numerology cards that came up. And it was broken up into pride was Pri and DE, so Delaware could be coming up. And then love partnership was LO and VE, like the love sign on the campus with Ben Franklin at University of Penn. And then PARTN came up, and then ER-ship along with LTH. And then HEA also came up, which came up as an example. I brought you the same letters in heart and earth, right? So earth had the RT, and then heaven had the VEN. But that HEA is coming up here again in health. So the code line here is all about the number 6 coming from 4 and 2, but the 2 is also very significant here. So the higher self or divine feminine and the 6 of the lovers coming together with the 4 of the emperor, perhaps, on stability. And the after-death reflection of the Sophia source energy, or the feminine source energy, or at the dead end, turning left. Remember, left is at the right angle, which is also the foo-foo without the OU, or owing somebody something. And also was coming up as adding the twin flame chakra system, path to the hard left. The foo-foo without the OU as a 2-2, so it's coming up as a 2-woo, or the twins woes, or the 2 U's in their human embodiment, to slow down or hit a wall, to go home, where, who, which, when, that, how, high, tall, village, great-grandfather, father-in-law, and that father-in-law is of a woman, the mother's brother or maternal uncle, the father's sister's husband. So all the relatives at Thanksgiving were coming up here. To add a fist for a 2-woo. It was like a powwow, only a 2-woo. Or a reflecting path here, to add your reflecting path as a 2-woo, a twin powwow. The love partnership between pride and health, or Delaware creation, right? Everyone likes to create businesses in Delaware. Or a holy place of offering here, the mercy ship, or expedited shipping in a sequence, or multiple shipments, perhaps. After death, expanding and contracting, or staying in the middle, reflecting, or twin ray chakra system. Sophia source, or path left, for a 2W human embodiment of source. Pride log was coming up as a word as well, to attach or donate, but without the G, because the word was actually coming up as PRIDLO without a G. But also of veership was coming up, LTH, which is coming up as of turning or swerving, that sudden shift, to be light as a feather and ship in a sequence, or coming in a sequence. In the holy place of offering, or the mercy ship, expedited shipping in a sequence, prying on the low part of Christ being idle to kill time. And after death fidelity, straight to the top, hoarding to, but then pulling back, or crowding to and then pulling back, regarding pride, lover's partnership, and health. Being idle in a sequence, public relations of the ego of one equal and congruent to love partnership, and being idle in a sequence. Or again, the energy of the ash, the bright light, and hitting a dead end, right? Being blinded by the light and having to make a hard left. So if you can't see where you're going, make a hard left, which is coming up. And that just came up too. Somebody got in a car accident in the movie that I was just watching. So at 5:29, which is the Hierophant and the 29 of the 3 of Swords being present, perhaps with gifts, so to the moment, waiting for your ship to come in. The Starseeds reversed, starting out here in the underlying energy, this top card with the mini cards on top. And beneath that was the Knight of Pentacles reversed, Indigo reversed, the 2 of Swords upright, the 5 of Cups upright, the Ace of Swords reversed. So the Knight of Pentacles reversed is that energy of being idle and lazy, or unable to function, or being stuck, disabled, or not working. So, and again, that energy of just being off, insecure, without tools or feeling manipulative yourself, or feeling manipulated, knowing and keeping to yourself to grieve, feeling sad, lacking faith, or embarrassed, or falling on your face, or from grace, or knocked for a loop, all with the Knight of Cups, or Knight of Pentacles rather, which is normally that loyal, humble servant when they're upright. Destined to self-satisfaction and needing to heal, now that the worst is over, or depressed about the bliss, after self-satisfaction, the Knight of Pentacles reversed and Indigo reversed stuck in their head, feeling sad or guilty or shame about a past lie, a split, a divide, or the need for clarity here and the whole truth. The Queen of Wands upright, post-war burdened by the Knight of Swords rushing in with the truth or deliveries, to justice, a judge or Libra, or disillusioned by the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, with the King of Pentacles reversed and the King of Cups reversed, perhaps in a death, an ending, a change, dark night, or Scorpio after a sudden event, epiphany, or sexual exchange. Or raking the blanket of leaves and not allowed to leave until completely done. As the King of Pentacles reversed is done talking, the King of Cups reversed is wanting to the King of Pentacles is done talking, then the King of Cups is wanting to lick off their shoes or luck off their shoes. Nobody better get in the Dark Knight's way here, because they're ready to walk right over anyone who does, or has just been a year of deaths or multiple endings without choice, ending the cycle, complete and whole, coming full circle, or bearing oneself to the world. The Divine Feminine or Pisces, but unable to manifest at work, or another embarrassed or without tools for work, with Gemini, Aries reversed, Libra, Scorpio, Pisces upright here. Attraction, and beneath that was soulmate, that yes, this is your soulmate, with a big love, third party through work left behind, but lover extended an olive branch. A moody King of Cups reversed, and Three of Cups have come together, with the High Priestess reversed, or that secret passion, after work coming together to be lazy, or don't need much to be happy together. At 613, the lovers and the transition of death, or the dark night of the soul, with abundance of the 88, the twin flames dancing side by side, and beneath that the music of the muse of the inner child, the 32 of the journey, perhaps music for abundance of the twins. And then overwhelmed, sweating it out, with issues at work, unfair or not sharing, or the inequity destined to work itself out, to end the conflict and emotional cycle of unhappiness of family or lack of fulfillment, perhaps at the library or homework or school, or desk or night shift, to end conflicts with an unhappy family. The cycle complete, the Divine Feminine, Pisces with an open heart, under the radar, working hard with the Knight of Swords reversed, who may be holding their tongue, but with something to say, and the Ten of Cups reversed, knocked for a loop. The Dark Knight with issues at work, with the High Priestess reversed, or secret passion with abundance, or twin, or the Empress upright. And then sad without the Hermit, with no peace, and the Page of Swords reversed, and negative self-talk. Or somebody spreading rumors of the Ten of Cups reversed, family who's unhappy and impatient with the Page of Wands reversed, to reap rewards destined, now that the worst is over, of their imprisonment. So at 912, which is the Hermit and the Hanging Man, the recent past of the Four of Wands reversed, unstable in a visit or move, the Tower and the Death, which can be an unnatural death that happened, a sudden death, an ending or a change, or Scorpio visit, reaping rewards, assessing a negative past, or healing your anxieties perhaps, with the Queen of Swords upright, the Queen of Cups reversed, and the Knight of Wands coming clean, or cleaning up their act, or cleaning up their space, or your space for you, in disconnect or at a distance, the unhappy family knocked for a loop by a sudden death or ending perhaps. The foundation of sudden burden of a split or divide, and the need for truth and clarity about the situation, and the justice of boredom, or grounding, integrating, and mastering receiving of love on the back end. Central energy of abundance and the Empress, and chased by the Knight of Wands upright, who's being chased by the Queen of Pentacles, holding on, and suddenly needing the Mother, holding on to stability, giving him ammunition to leave now or run away. A sudden change. The challenge being the Eight of Wands reversed in a heated exchange or debate. The Knight of Pentacles reversed stuck after they walked away. The Queen of Wands receiving a big love offer, standing up to rejection, keeping to themselves, as the King of Wands reversed, with the King of Cups reversed, is receiving the truth. The Empress and the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles are challenged by arguing here with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, and the Queen of Wands upright with the King of Wands reversed, and the King of Cups reversed, destined justice at the new moon with satisfaction or deception and arrogance in a heated exchange with the King of Wands reversed and the Queen of Wands upright, or Libra upright and Cancer reversed, and Leo upright or kids in a heated exchange with the Empress ending conflict in a losing battle with the Hierophant, religion, establishment, marriage, or Taurus or tradition. All day, up early in a negative exchange with the Empress upright in a losing battle with the Queen of Pentacles, Taurus, perhaps with Leo in their chart. At 9:51, which is the Hermit and the King of Swords, which can be a Virgo King of Swords, now is the Two of Wands reversed without a choice. The King of Pentacles reversed, who makes a fool of himself, or maybe he's just knocked for a loop and drained, or kids out of control. The Sovereign, who's independent, and the Empress reversed in need of help. Or maybe she's just a mean person in a heated exchange with the King of Swords reversed. And the Ten of Pentacles upright, family, business, or community, in a losing battle where the Ten of Cups is reversed and the Ten of Pentacles is upright, but the King of Pentacles is reversed and the King of Cups is reversed, but they're tired of fighting. With the Ten of Swords reversed and the Fool reversed, the bliss of embarrassment, or the Queen of Swords talking about the wounded warrior surrendering here to their guilt and walking away. The Knight of Swords upright cracking the whip with the Queen of Cups reversed, currently vampiring energy. Maybe she's vamping or vaping there, deciding not to go out. The Page of Swords and the Six of Swords both reversed, out in the cold with the Page of Pentacles, inviting them for a visit, or to stay over, or to move in together, or a partner up. And soon as the Two of Cups reversed, with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, standing up to the Page of Cups reversed, with detoxing the Emperor upright, with the Page of Swords reversed, who may be withholding or saving or playing hardball until they find peace, standing up to the Page of Pentacles upright, with a falling out in the past, or bad memories. And that could be of kids who picked on each other at Thanksgiving when they grew up. At 10:04, so again, message received, the twin flames with alchemy reversed, not blending, losing patience or temper, hanging out with lover, refusing to help clean up, arguing with difficult kids, or at a distance, or on vacation, or not agreeing on what to expose to the Ten of Cups reversed, family who's unhappy about a marriage, religion, establishment, or Taurus upright and Sag reversed, stressed out and or unable to sleep, or over their sneakiness. With Sagittarius reversed, Pisces or Capricorn upright, Gemini, Leo, and Taurus upright as well. And the movies, by the way, that day came up Hello, Goodbye, and Everything Between, and Into the Wind. So at 10:08, and there's that 10:8 energy again of the 18, of separation and children, but also love yourself first and romantic feelings. And when children come up in this deck, it's because they're affecting your love life. And are you letting them? Around the twins, or how they're seen, is the Seven of Pentacles, which is a divine feminine's heart in the E-Tower, reaping rewards, powerless or dependent or dumping emotional attachments to the Knight of Cups, rendering them weak, perhaps indecisive, as the King of Swords reversed and the Page of Wands reversed, child, or letting go of the need for the Knight of Cups to offer love, perhaps to the dog or pet. Like, you always want someone to love someone as much as you do. So trying to get someone to appreciate them the way you do. Or trying to get somebody to call. Somebody might not be calling, or the need to decide or swallow your pride, with the King of Swords reversed and the Page of Wands reversed, or the father needing to bond with the child. The block here is the Seven of Cups reversed, and repeating steps or coming downstairs, under the radar or lack of integrity, and again, Home Alone is making me think of this here. under the radar lack of integrity, not wanting to do the work, or the secret passion is not working out. And then health, love, partnership, and pride all came up with the Chariot reversed and the Page of Pentacles upright. The child arrived safely, or the bulls split, broken with the Page of Pentacles, who may be hurting themselves or giving too much or trying too hard. And the Queen of Swords upright without peace, with the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles both upright here, ending marital or religious conflicts, needing courage, strength, or Taurus upright ×2 here with Leo in their chart, and the Queen of Swords coming together post-war to end fears of rejection or a baby crying, juggling a visit or a move, performing up early, which may feel unfair or stuck, broken with Hermit shedding light on it or taking a look under the hood. With the Queen of Swords upright and the Page of Swords reversed, stuck on an island to themselves, with the Justice of nesting, with a secret passion, or without higher self, Empress. And there can be testing there too. And that can be, you know what, testing. At 10:07 is the Wheel of Fortune and the 27 of the Ace of Wands. The Knight of Pentacles reversed may be insecure or comfortably numb, grieving a split or lies in their foolish behavior or somebody else's, or knocked for a loop with the Tower coming in, or losing patience, freaking out, or sudden crown opening and knocked off balance in the Divine Feminine's heart, with visitors or visiting the Empress upright, challenged by a heated exchange, not seeing eye to eye about coming downstairs or repeating steps, dumping emotional attachments without a choice, to the Queen of Swords upright and the Page of Swords reversed, perhaps stuck, drained with justice and destiny of the secret passion and the need for clarity without the Starseed, unstable, unhappy family with a sudden abundance, or Empress without options, challenged by an energetic block or a heated exchange, losing patience with distance of a connection, or the Divine Feminine's heart losing momentum with the Queen of Swords upright and negative self-talk, or an island to themselves with Justice of Destiny, with a secret passion, or the Empress or Taurus upright, or Queen of Swords upright, Virgo or Libra, with Cancer, and Taurus with Pisces reversed, or sisters who are not doing well at 10:47, that high vibe 4 to 7 sweet spot, or heart to crown, and then finished at 11:42 of alignment of the Two of Cups. So there you go. I'm just going to pull an energy card for you guys because that was a lot. At 6:40, which is the reflection of that 4 and 6 came up earlier with the C's, the coding. The 64 is the 10 of Swords, but it's reversed in this read, which is the bliss of the swords falling out of your back. So the ending of that pain and the betrayal. And the 641 now of the Lovers and the Ace of Cups, the Holy Grail. What is our takeaway here? A garden in the gate. The 30 of the home and the Om. And someone's indecisive about whether they want to come or go right there. All right, so the one with anxieties and then the one who's very balanced. Or this is the one with anxieties, learning how to walk away and within at home and balance themselves. Maybe if they're in somebody else's energies, learning to walk away. And then perhaps dealing with a parent or the energy of the family, of the Angel of Strength. And this could be a daughter emulating the way their mother acts around other people and learning from that how to balance their energies. So again, walking away from the family when you need to, when you're all stuck in the same place. And again, Home Alone was all about that, right? With him wishing he could be by himself. And then here's the Sun of exposing everything, or vacation, the one of the Magician embodiment, and being in full energy here once you're balanced again, and learning how to do that. And then going out to the community when you're ready. The 7 of the Chariot, perhaps traveling or visiting or ascending here with the community. Once you've had a rest and vacation and you've cleared all your energies with a bath perhaps and salt water. The bottom of the deck is the 39 of the Knight of Cups. So again, being in the throat chakra, speaking your truth with love.
and Archangel Gabriel, which is all about health healing, physical healing, and being love. And then the trumpeter here. It's the Knight of Cups and the 33 of the Christ vibration. The key to the cage to release you from your prison is the door to romance. The Knight of Cups heralding in the change, speaking their truth. And this can be that having a trach in. That was just in the movie I watched last night. And again, the Knight of Cups being love. And again, the throat chakra here, the 5th chakra of speaking one's truth with love. And the masculine energy. So all the cards that came out were feminine. And then here's the underlying energy of the masculine speaking his truth. And maybe not wanting to be in this energy of all women, right? You don't see any men here, do you? And that could be, you know, a group of all women where the masculine never has a say. Okay, I hope that was helpful. There's a lot of great info that came through in that one. And so, remember to drink your water, plenty of water every day, and get your rest, your joy, your nature, and overall, always follow your own intuition above everyone else, you know. Practice your meditation, maybe get in some water, that might help you. Yeah, instead of drying off your hands, maybe splash some water on the back of your neck, you know. Just little things that can attach you to water more often. But again, just keeping that vibration high and connecting with nature, hugging that tree, rising and being love, and loving and rising from that. It was just 3113, which is that energy of chaos and death. Okay, guys, remember to breathe, because that's inspiring. And rise and be love. I'll see you guys soon. Have an amazing day. Bye.